With good reason, Khamzat Chimaev is one of the most talked about welterweight prospects in the UFC. Before his victory over Gilbert Burns at UFC 273, the Swede had never dropped a single round in his entire professional MMA career. During the fight at UFC 273, the Chechen fighter had one of his first rounds stolen from him for the first time. According to scorecards, the second round of the bout was decisively won by the Brazilian on all three of the judges' scorecards. In spite of the fact that the concluding scorecards showed a unanimous victory for Borz with a score of 29-28, the second round was won by Durinho with a score of 10-9. The bout that Chimaev had with Gilbert Burns was considered by a lot of fans and experts to be one of the most challenging tests of his career to this point. He believed he was gonna breeze past Gilbert, but he found out the hard way that that's not how it works when you're up against the best in your division. In the future, he'll most surely benefit from the experience of that combat. So let's get to know more about the UFC sensation, Khamzat Chimaev. Who is Khamzat Chimaev? Khamzat Chimaev is a mixed martial artist who was born in Russia and has emerged as one of the most prominent figures in the sport in a relatively short amount of time. Chimaev has already made a significant impact and astonished the whole mixed martial arts world with his excellent results, despite the fact that this is only his first year as a professional fighter. He was born in the Chechen Republic in Russia, and at an early age he had an interest in martial arts, specifically judo and wrestling, and he began studying both of these disciplines. As he got older, he began to take a greater interest in mixed martial arts and began his training in a variety of different styles, including boxing and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Chimaev took the choice to go to Sweden in 2016 so that he may advance his profession in the field of martial arts. There, he started his MMA training at the All-Stars Training Center in Stockholm, which is widely regarded as one of the best facilities of its kind in Europe. Chimaev began to perfect his abilities and grow into a well-rounded mixed martial artist while working with the famous instructor Rafael Cordeiro. Chimaev owes his success to Rafael Cordeiro. In a short amount of time, he established himself as a force to be reckoned with on the regional scene in Sweden, compiling an incredible record of 5-0 with 5 finishes. In July 2020, he made his debut in the professional ranks in a regional promotion in Sweden. This event marked the beginning of his ascent to the top. Chimaev began his rapid ascent to popularity with a knockout victory in just 17 seconds against his opponent in his very first professional bout. This victory paved the way for Chimaev's meteoric rise to stardom. Over the next 3 months, Chimaev maintained his dominant performance, improving his record to 9-0 with 8 knockouts. He rapidly became a fan favorite thanks to his devastating striking and powerful grappling style, and the Ultimate Fighting Championship picked him up not long afterward. As expected, Chimaev stunned everyone with a strong performance in his first UFC bout, which he won by knockout over seasoned fighter John Phillips. He displayed his grappling talents by submitting Phillips in the first round, thus solidifying his position as a leading contender in the welterweight class. Chimaev's achievements, however, did not end there. In just his second UFC bout, he faced a seasoned competitor by the name of Gerard Meerschaert. Once again, he exercised complete control over his adversary and won the fight in just 17 seconds. This incredible effort established a new record for the quickest finish in a middleweight fight in the history of UFC. Chimaev became one of the most talked about fighters in the sport as his popularity continued to rise and his name was constantly being mentioned by fans and commentators alike. His status as a genuine superstar in the mixed martial arts community was cemented when he appeared on the cover of the widely read sports publication Sports Illustrated. He has maintained his modesty and remained focused on his training despite his success. He is continually striving to enhance his fighting ability and became the greatest fighter he can be. He attributes a large portion of his achievements to his trainer, Rafael Cordeiro, and the rest of the crew at the All-Stars Training Center, who were important in his growth as a fighter and helped him become the person he is today. He is well known not just for his training, but also for his humanitarian work. Despite his packed schedule, Chimaev makes it a point to regularly give back to the people in his neighborhood. He's been involved in a great number of charitable activities and even established his own foundation, the mission of which is to offer support and aid to young people who are in need. It's clear that Chimaev will continue to shock and awe the world with his skills inside the octagon as a result of his impressive record and dominant performances, which have made him one of the most exciting and highly anticipated fighters in the sport. Chimaev's impressive record and dominant performances have made him one of the most highly anticipated fighters in the sport. Recently, Khabib Nurmagomedov criticized Khamzat Chimaev for his famous failed weight cut, which resulted in a number of last-minute alterations being made to UFC 279. The former UFC champion, who has since retired, cast doubt on Chimaev's crew, stating that the latter desperately needs more Muslims around him, particularly now that he is becoming famous and wealthy. If you're a Muslim, you should surround yourself with nice people, other Muslims who are able to tell you, hey, don't do this, Nurmagomedov stated. I kept an eye on the squad and tracked what was going on with his weight, he said. It's terribly unfortunate that there are no Muslims in his immediate vicinity, because if you're Muslim, you need to surround yourself with decent and powerful individuals. They'll tell you to come back and complete the task, he stated. Since then, Chimaev's long-standing colleague, Reza Madadi, has written a detailed reaction to those statements and put them online. In an Instagram post, the UFC veteran and fellow Muslim responded to Khabib's arguments in a courteous manner to solve the problem. Yeah, that's all for today's episode. Also, if you liked the video, be sure to click the thumbs up button, and if you're looking for more interesting content, then hit the subscribe button for future updates.